everybody. Welcome to Mommy Musts with Mary Grace, where I talk about everything that I have learned along the way raising 3 little boys. And you'll notice with me today, we have a special guest. Say hi. Because we are talking about potty training. Really, really difficult topic for all parents of when do I start potty training? How do I know if my toddler is ready to potty train? What do I need? How do I do it? And so I thought I would go through some of my tips and tricks for things that I learned along the way. Potty training now, 3 little boys. This guy being the most recent, who's just started potty training in the past week. Yay! Yeah. So we're working on it. We are a work in progress, but I'm going to show you kind of how I've set things up and let me get you going. Okay, so question number 1 is, how do I know when my little one is ready to be potty trained? I think there's actually 2 parts to this. There's my little one in the background, which is when are they ready and when are you ready to potty train? First answer is, when are they ready? So, okay, I'm coming. He's telling me right now he's ready to go potty. So we're going to go in there and I'll pause and come back to answering that question in a second, because first tip is when they're ready and they're potty training, they're ready and you got to go right then. So let's go. Okay, guys, so this is the setup in our half bath. We have exactly the same setup upstairs so that if my toddler needs to go while he's on the main floor, basement, or upstairs, there's a setup in all zones. So one of the absolute key things here, right, is that going when they need to go, they got to go. So the second you hear them say, I have to go potty, you got to go. You got to find a bathroom, whether you're out in public, whether you're running to the bathroom on the floor of the house that you need to go to, any of the above, just get there as quickly as you can. So that's really, really important. There's no waiting and holding right when they're learning. When they progress a little bit more and they're able to hold it a little bit longer because they've been potty trained for a couple weeks and they're doing a really good job of staying clean and dry, it's not as much of a rush, but at the beginning, you kind of have to like drop everything and run the second they give you the cue that they need to go potty. Whether that's them saying pee-pee or poo-poo or kind of grabbing themselves and recognizing, uh-oh, I feel something, and you're noticing those signals, which you need to be looking out for. That's how you kind of know, uh-oh, it's really time for me to go, run them to the potty. So here's the setup. You'll notice there's 3 things. There is the footstool. There's the toilet seat insert, and there's this little basket of books and fidget toys. The basket of books and fidget toys is really important, and here's why. So what you might notice about the toddlers is that the second they go pee, they want to jump up off of the potty. And what you really need to get them to do is have a little bit longer sit time to see if they also need to go poop. I've noticed with my 3 that they will recognize when they need to pee and be potty trained with peeing more quickly than pooping. Every child is different. That might not be the case for yours. Regardless, what becomes really important is this concept of sit time. So having them sit for just a couple of minutes on the potty. And the way that they get them to do that is by having a basket of books or fidget toys or things like that next to them that they can play with or look at. And it gets them to sit on the potty just a tiny bit longer to make sure that they've fully peed and fully pooped, so that they don't hop up off of the potty and then 2 minutes later you have a poop accident or a pee accident in their diaper because they didn't fully go to the bathroom. So the little box of toys next to the toilet is really, really important. And I pick books and fidgets because those are things that they would typically hold in their hands and do in their laps. I don't pick things like cars or dolls or things like that because typically my kids at least are wanting to play on the floor with those toys. And I don't want them getting up off of the potty to try to play with whatever I'm putting in the basket. I want them to stay on the potty. So books, fidgets, and things like that are really, really good. The other thing that I have is the toilet seat insert. So this guy, really, really important. So here's a couple features about it. It's hard plastic. I tried the foamy squishy ones. The foamy squishy ones are not great because what happens with toddlers is, at least with boys, they pee in lots of different directions while they're learning about potty training. And the pee will get into the foam and soak into the foam, and there's no way to clean it. And then the foam gets really disgusting. So these hard plastic ones are really, really nice because you can take a clean wipe, a bleach wipe, clean them off really, really easily. The other awesome part about these is you can travel with them. I have taken these abroad and in the country traveling. I stick them in a grocery bag. I take them wherever we're going to travel because I want to make sure that my child feels comfortable in a hotel, a resort, grandma and grandpa's house, whatever, so that they feel like they are not going to fall into the toilet. And so I do travel with this. It's very, very convenient. And I would recommend taking it with you, particularly while they're in their first few months of learning how to potty train. So I highly recommend these. The little potties that stand on their own, I do not recommend those. And here's why. Those end up, they kind of grow out of them very, very quickly. So they have them for a really short period of time. And then very quickly, your toddler gets so big that they're not using it. The other thing is that when they poop in them, having to clean the poop out of the bowl and get it into the toilet and then get the poop out of the bowl is really kind of gross and unpleasant. So these work really nicely. The one caveat is, let's talk about the stool. So I do get stools. I have a stool for upstairs. I have a stool for down here on the main floor in our half bath. I do this for a reason. Let me show you the setup again. So if you check out my setup, I have the stool and I've got the seat and I've got the fidgets with the books next to it. My toddler can walk in here and get himself comfortably up onto the toilet and over the seat. These things are a little bit movable. And so with the addition of the footstool, it makes it much easier for them to get on stably and feel really, really comfortable on the toilet. Here's the other pro tip or bonus feature of having the stool. Let's watch. My child literally takes this thing, flips it around. Now this is our tiny half bath, but flips it around and uses it to then wash his hands. Amazing. So I kind of get a bonus use out of the footstool. I have one upstairs too, because then he can also reach the sink and learn how to wash his own hands after he goes to the bathroom. So question number 1 is, how do I know when my toddler needs to go potty? Or needs to start to potty train? The answer is they'll sort of tell you, right? They'll start to signal that they understand that there's a sensation down there that they need to go potty. They'll kind of grab themselves and go pee or poo, and they'll start to kind of have these sort of sensations that they'll give you some body language signaling, verbal cues that they're starting to become aware of their body. And typically that's when I know, okay, they're ready to start to potty train. The second thing though, and I've said this, you have to be ready to potty train. My husband and I were traveling out of the country. Our youngest toddler, who you met earlier, he was totally ready to start potty training when he was closer to 2. He's 2.5 now. Potty training usually occurs between 2 and 3.5. And your kid can be all the way along the dotted line in that age group of when they're ready. It doesn't make a difference. And my husband and I were leaving to go out of the country, and we had some other trips for some weddings and family things that we were doing. And I said, you know what? We're just not ready. Like, I'm not ready to start to sprint to a hotel bathroom when we're out running around, or find one on the subway out of the country, or one of those things. I want to make sure that when we're potty training, I'm able to be home for a week to really kind of set in the behaviors that we're wanting to set in with him. So we waited until we got back. That weekend, immediately, I started letting him run around the house naked. If you're all able to do that and you're comfortable doing that, that was the easiest thing I could do, because he could signal and know when he was ready to go more easily than when he was naked than in the diaper. Because in the diaper, he got used to going in it, but he was naked, he wasn't used to going. And so when he was giving me those cues, when he was naked, he was cueing in more quickly to it. So I spent the weekend with him naked, running him immediately if I saw pee or poop coming out, grabbing him, rushing him to the potty, or rushing him when he was telling me, or any of the above. Not make a big deal out of if they have an accident at all. And huge hurrah, cheer, yay, stickers, whatever works. If they do really well and they make it to the potty, make a big deal out of it. Oh, that's him in the background. Okay, guys, so just to recap, a couple of things. So how do I know when they're potty training? Usually between the ages of 2 and 3.5, when they start to signal that they're understanding the sensation. Either they're verbally cueing to you, or they're, grabbing and saying, like they're noticing something, so behaviorally cueing to you that they are noticing that they have to pee or they have to poop. That's usually the cue that they know. Second thing is you all have to be ready. So my husband and I were traveling out of the country. We had some weddings to go to. We actually waited a couple of months before we potty trained our toddler, even though he was cueing to us that he was ready, because I really wanted to make sure that I was going to be home and able to kind of get him to a comfortable bathroom in a familiar place as quickly as possible when it was time for him to go potty. So that is really, really important. When you get ready to potty train, I usually do it on a weekend because I know that we can be home, and I sort of set it up. If you're able to have them be naked, I have them be naked because they get really comfortable and used to being in a diaper. And so they get used to just going potty in the diaper, which is not a great thing. So typically I make sure that I'm home, I can have them be naked. And then the second they either start to go to the potty on accident or they cue into you that they need to go to the potty, you do not wait, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Sprint them to the bathroom, put them on the potty, and have them try to do a little bit of sit time by reading a book or playing with one of the fidgets in the box. And then super huge praise when they're done. So we get really excited, we clap, we give them stickers, anything that might work for your child. We do not make a big deal out of it if they have an accident. It's kind of just whenever we move on. And then we go from there. And we also teach our child that they take that stool and they spin it around and they wash their hands at the sink when they're done going potty. And so we teach them how to appropriately sort of sit on the potty and have enough sit time to void everything that they need to void. And then we flip them around and have them teach them how to wash their hands, pump out the soap, wash, and stand on the footstool on their own. And that way they can reach the sink. And so those are the kind of big key items. I do keep a diaper on my children at night until they're able to stay dry through the night for at least a month. And so, the nighttime is kind of a different animal. It's not the same as potty training during the day. So don't put the same amount of pressure on yourself about getting through the night. Don't, no need to wake up in the middle of the night or any of that stuff. Children, as they progress in learning how to potty train during the day, will naturally start to stay clean and dry at night. And so they'll do it on their own. I put a diaper on him for about a month or two while we're practicing him staying clean and dry through the night. I do nothing. We sleep through the night like normally. He wakes up in the morning. I take him to the bathroom first thing. Once he starts to have dry diapers consistently for a couple of months, I might take off the diaper at night. There's really no rush. It doesn't change anything. So these are my tips, my tricks, my mommy musts. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, any of the above, and check me out with other mommy must videos with Mary Grace. Thanks so much.